What's going on, guys? This is the Kentucky Prime Sports Podcast coming back at you after a little hiatus last week. My name's Devin Hood. I'm here with Austin, Gibb, Biddy, and Burke. I guess it's time for us to kind of put a recap on the season, put a bow on it. National championship happened last weekend. Florida Gators ended up taking that one home for the SEC, best conference of all time.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Cap.
I don't know if it's cap.
I don't think it's Cavs.
What man's opinion?
You got 50% of the Final Four being the SEC. That's pretty good.
ACC's done
Not this year, though.
it. Not this year.
Against the toughest SEC there ever has been.
Next year, y'all are not looking good though.
I mean, I think we're looking pretty good.
It's still gonna be tough.
There's not going to be 14 bids though next year.
No, probably. I mean, probably 14.
It'll probably be 16.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe 17.
Maybe.
Maybe
South
add
Carolina-
an extra team.
South Carolina maybe gonna get in next year. You'll see.
I'm going to call it 8.
64,
So, yeah,
68 teams.
I mean,
The whole
here-
country
here-
just
here in
becomes the
5
SEC.
years. It probably will be the SEC, not NCAA.
I'd be alright with that.
Yeah.
OG members of the national conference.
Oh jeez.
Georgia and Alabama football money sponsors it all.
Oh, here we go.
That's crazy. All right, so what did you guys think about the national championship, though? Did you all sit down and watch it as Kentucky and Louisville fans, or y'all just didn't really care how it went?
I tuned in kind of on and off.
Yeah.
The last 2 minutes I really tuned in, but I really wasn't that interested in it to begin with. But like once it got close there, I think it was like 5 minutes left. Florida cut it to 6. I was like, all right, we got a game. We got a game now.
Yeah. What about you, Gabe? You didn't watch it at all?
I didn't turn it on. I honestly wasn't even sure at the time the game started. I knew the day, but I couldn't be bothered.
Yeah. What about you, Biddy? Did you watch it at all?
No. After Duke got out, I'm good.
Didn't want to see anymore.
Yeah, it was sad.
It's baseball time.
But what
Baseball season.
what a way to end the game. Not even get a shot off.
Right.
That was the worst. That looked like middle school.
I mean, just the sheer amount of panic you just saw when he went to take that shot. You
Yeah.
could see
He
it
knew
in
he was
his
getting
face.
swatted
Yeah.
if he pulled it up.
Why wasn't the ball in Cryer's hands?
Yeah, well, that's the main thing. Why did your best player not have the ball at that point? And then, like you said, it looked like middle school basketball. These guys, I would hope, have more basketball IQ than the 6 of us combined, 5 of us, however many's here, right? Whenever he went up and did that shot, and came back down, let go of it, why did anybody from his team not come over and attempt to even get the ball?
Right.
Yeah, they just kind of stood there and
They just
watched.
stood there and looked at it.
Maybe they thought that there was only like half a second left on the clock or something, but they had a good 3
It was
or
like 3 seconds.
yeah 3 seconds.
I mean, it would have been tough to go over there and get it. You'd have had to chuck a shot up from right there.
But
where
it
he
still
touched
gives
it.
you a better chance than no chance at all.
Right. And then, another thing, too, Florida gets the ball back, probably about a second.
No, I don't think they got the ball back at all. No, yeah, they
Well,
don't. They don't want it.
They took possession.
Yeah,
Roughly about a second left. Why was there not an immediate foul?
exactly. I mean, give yourself a fighting chance.
Yeah, you go down, maybe think, hey, miss some free throws. I'm not sure if they were in the double bonus at that point. But,
I think they were
Take the chance on some missed free throws, try to get a steal, something.
something going.
But yeah, I mean, they just, threw the ball down on the ground, looked at it, and
Like,
let the time roll
we're
off.
done.
Embarrassment.
I say it was a Cryer attempted the shot.
No, it was
There's a sharp.
yeah.
Okay, so Sharp attempted the shot. By rule, he cannot touch the ball once he lets go of that. Like he can't pick it up, he can't touch it off.
Right,
If he picks it up, it's
He
a
can't
double
be the
dribble.
first guy to touch
Yes,
it.
it's a
It's
double
a-
dribble at
yeah.
that point.
Yep.
And you saw him; he was boxing out his man, just trying to give somebody on his team a fighting chance to get to the ball, and everybody just
Yeah.
stood
He
there.
should have shot it regardless.
Yeah,
He shouldn't have.
Yeah, whatever that was.
a quick shot, he would have had a better chance. It would have.
You could at least have a chance for a rebound.
Yeah,
And then, this is something I just thought of since we're talking about it. We've seen all year the refs have been, completely hit or miss, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, he didn't shoot that ball because the Florida guy was closing out on him pretty tight, pretty heavy.
Could have been a foul.
Could have been a
could
foul.
have been a foul.
If he jacks up a 3 and falls down,
Now I don't think they're going to make that call unless he just blatantly tackles him. I don't think they're going to make that call in that situation.
right? But, I mean, it's better than watching it
It's better than watching
just
that.
dribble away.
Right,
Yeah.
let's try. But dude, the officiating in that game was a little weird.
It was like
First half,
versus
let 'em
second
play.
half. Totally different.
Second half, Houston had 4 fouls in 23 seconds.
Yeah. And that's just, one of those things that we've been talking about all year.
Just inconsistency.
Yeah. And I mean, from the first 20 minutes to the second 20 minutes, that game shouldn't have been called that drastically
No.
different.
You have like 9 fouls versus 30.
Yeah.
You should end the game just the same way as you started it. If
Yeah.
you're gonna let them play, you gotta let them play the whole game. You can't just turn it on, with 4 minutes left.
I agree with that. Have you all seen any of the controversy about the basketball in general?
I have not.
Anybody seen any of
I
that?
don't think so.
What they deflated?
No, so they kind of the opposite. So whenever we moved to the NCAA tournament, they used the I may get this wrong, the Wilson Evo.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And so, not every team uses it throughout the season. Like Kentucky, uses Nike basketballs, being a Nike school. I think Louisville actually uses the Wilson full season. But, during the regular season, every team uses their, preferred basketball. You get to the NCAA tournament, everybody uses the same ball. Florida, we've seen all year, they were, powerhouse on the offensive side, and they put up
64.
63, 64 points.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that's coming back, to the actual basketball itself.
I
What do you
mean,
guys think about that?
I've heard several players mention hey, I probably won't play or I won't shoot as well playing at this at Georgia, for instance, because they use different balls than we do.
Yeah.
I've heard several players mention that this year.
Yeah, Kobe Ray actually talked about it this year.
Yeah.
He said, you have to kind of adjust how you shoot the ball. It is a little different, and the air pressure in those balls. I heard it earlier this week, like 7 to 9 pounds is what is regulation.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about air pressure. That's a big difference
Oh, yeah.
in a basketball. If you got a 7-pound ball versus a 9, no, not weight pounds, but
Right. Yeah.
PSI. If you got 7 pounds of pressure versus 9,
That's quite a difference.
Feels different, bounces different, shoots different.
yeah.
You think they have a tighter tolerance than that?
Right. I mean, you send you get a guy that shoots kind of heavy handed. If you got a ball inflated all the way to 9, that thing's breaking off the back
Oh,
of the
yeah.
net every
Yeah.
time. You're not getting any friendly rolls at that point.
No.
I
Yeah.
do feel like they should either regulate you have to use this ball all year, or let like that higher seed determine which ball they use in the tournament.
I agree with that.
I can respect
I never
that.
thought about the higher seed getting big. That's actually
Yeah, that's very
that's
interesting.
a pretty good point.
Yeah.
Like you can bring your own balls and use like your own basketballs for the game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because, like we said, Nike school, they're obligated to use a Nike ball. Adidas school, they don't have the Adidas ball, obviously. So, like Louisville, all your Adidas school get to pick which ball they use throughout the year. But, if you get into the tournament and you're the 2 seed and you're playing, the 3 seed, hey, I'm getting to pick which ball we use.
Yeah, I agree. It should either be one ball all year long, or when you get to the tournament, the higher seed gets to pick.
Yeah. And not just, I would like to know who decided, hey, once we get to the tournament, we're using this ball that, a select few teams use throughout the year.
Yeah, probably whoever paid the most money to have their ball in the
Yeah,
tournament.
for sure.
Right.
But I do remember seeing like a video. I think the weekend of the first round of like what was it, Robinson and like Butler talking about the balls, and they're like, yeah, these are like overly inflated from what we're used to. Like the grip's different. You just got to be mindful of that and actually adjust your game style to it.
Yeah, that is true. I would like to see, have both hand in hand,
Yeah,
because I don't know if I've ever felt the Wilson Evo that they use. I'm sure maybe I have at some point, but
Yeah.
if we're hooping at the Armory,
Yeah.
we're just looking for a ball.
Right.
But some balls are the tighter skin, tighter leather feel, and some are the kind of like
almost
bubbly,
more inflated.
like more padded feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer using this not a slick ball, but one that's tighter and
Yeah.
less cushion. I
One
guess
that's
would
been
be.
dribbled outside a few times.
Yeah, you gotta have a nice little outside ball.
Yeah, it gets a better grip.
Dude, I've shot Nike balls. I don't really care for Nike balls.
Why aren't we using a nice Spalding? Go to Walmart, pick you up about 10 or 12 Spaldings.
Yeah.
And ones.
Get
Oh wow.
get those 97-cent ones out, them bright orange babies. The ones that come in the Easter baskets.
The ones they use at
Yeah.
PE in elementary school.
Yeah. Bring it
No,
back to the old days.
Bring it
I
back.
do like Spalding and Wilson the best, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
But you guys know what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah.
the ones that feel like they're
Oh,
more
yeah.
cushioned.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that would make a difference.
Yep. I'm feeling like, I want to say Nikes have like more cushion than Wilson. Like, it's like, you can put your hands in the grooves.
Yeah.
You can just tell,
Yeah.
This one sticks out way further so your fingers don't really touch the groove. And
Right. She's a little thicker.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean,
some of them like your fingers kind of indent into the
Yeah.
leather, like you kind of actually grab into it.
And the
Versus
other one's
just
like
like
just solid.
yeah, it's just
Yeah,
you're
it's
resting
hard
on
as
your
rock.
hand and you
Yeah.
just can't do anything with it. So you just
And as far as shooting, I think I would prefer that over the cushion.
Yeah.
I think I prefer more of the cushion
Yeah.
if I'm a shooter. Yeah, just the way it feels like there's more cushion, kind of let it roll off your fingers instead of, just like a tighter woven. You know
yeah,
what I
you,
mean?
you feel like you can get like a little bit better of a flick on it.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you.
Yeah. And this may be because we're not, 6'7",
I say I've-
6'8", and have hands like, Andre the Giant.
I also haven't picked up a basketball in like 8 years, so
Yeah, but like think about it. If you have, it doesn't really affect us. But if you got like small hands and you're playing, like Kobe Bryant for example, big guy.
Mhm.
But let's just say you switch over to Lamont Butler, smaller guy,
Mhm.
or how his hands fit the basketball.
big difference.
Big difference.
Yeah.
LeBron James, he can palm the ball. Devin Hood probably can't palm the ball. That's going to make a difference. I'm out there shooting threes.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you also, I think that like point guards.
Bad ball handling.
How many
Yeah.
times how many games do you have where you're used to dribbling and like cutting it up with a 7 PSI ball? All of a sudden you go to a 9, get a little extra bounce back, and all of a sudden you see these guys start like turning it over and losing the ball more.
Exactly. Like if you're putting move on somebody and you expect the ball to be here when you're getting ready to cut,
But it's up
and
here.
now it's up here. That's a carry,
Yeah.
double dribble, over your head and out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, there's no such thing as a carry nowadays, but
That was a big thing when we were young, right?
yeah, big
I remember I
thing.
got called like five positions in a row for a carry.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
Quick
people
game.
literally.
I did after the 5th time.
I'm not going to drop any names here, but I remember being in middle school and somebody we all know was getting hot because we were playing in PE one day, and he was like, "He's carrying every time he's touching it." It's like, brother, we're in PE,
Yeah, right.
7th grade. You're freaking out. We're not even playing a game. We're just playing pickup ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I'll tell you all the name after we get done with this. But, that does definitely make a difference.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
So going back to the national championship, do you guys think Kelvin Sampson's ever going to win a big one?
I think
No.
this was his last chance. He's what, 70 years old, 75,
69, I think.
69.
He's pushing.
He's
his
been
age.
there. He's been in Houston for 32 years. I was
Yeah.
rooting for him.
Oh yeah, I
to
was
get one.
too.
But next year, according to the preseason the way too early rankings, they're gonna be good again. So.
We'll get into that way too early. At what point is it way too early? They drop one way, move it to way too early.
I think they shouldn't put that out.
Drop the way, move just to too early.
Yeah, they shouldn't put that out till after the portal closes. Because,
yeah,
like Louisville may be 3 today and have 3 guys in the transfer portal and
they
be,
could be number 1 tomorrow.
well, if they lose 3 guys in the transfer portal, I doubt they go up to number 1. But they could be 15 the next day.
Right. Yeah, that is true. I agree with that. They probably shouldn't put that out until all the dust is settled.
Rosters are set.
Yeah.
Put it out like at the preseason, before the preseason.
Yeah.
And like
not before
August or
the championship
September.
plays.
Yeah, give me a way too early in August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we as Kentucky fans, we've seen you can get commitments on up into the summer.
Yeah.
Reed Travis didn't come to Kentucky till June.
But then you won't have nothing to talk about over summer.
Well, we'll figure that out.
You won't have nothing to brag about.
I mean,
we got baseball we can talk about.
Like, look at this, boys.
We've got baseball. We've got all kinds
Like,
of
Louisville's
things.
number
on
3, Kentucky's like 43 or something. Like.
Well, depends on which little list you look at it the way too early.
That's the
we
big
got
list.
plenty we can yap about.
Bulls number 3 on most of them.
That's kind of crazy.
Balling. I did see a list of the top 10 most profitable universities.
Louisville's nowhere to be
Louisville
seen.
number 3.
No shot.
Mhm.
What was Kentucky?
7.
No shot.
No way.
Duke and Carolina are 1 and 2.
How is
Carolina's 1, Duke 2.
no offense at all? How is Louisville more profitable than Kentucky?
I don't know, dude. So it always has been, like, no joke. Before the scandal, we were number 1.
They got more donors.
That don't even sound right. I've seen Joe and Kelly Craft's parking spot at Kroger Field.
Yeah.
They donate the money.
I mean, we can look it up.
That's all right. We'll do that later. All right. So you guys agree though? Probably Kelvin Sampson last ride. If he didn't get it here, he's not getting it.
I think next year's his last chance.
You think so? Do they get Cryer back, or is he a super duper senior.
You can now be a super duper senior.
New rule.
Baker Mazar, is it Baker Mazar?
Chad, yeah. If he
he's-
comes back,
He's 25 and he's coming back.
there's no shot that he can actually come back.
Auburn's starting 5 this year was there are 2 NBA teams with a younger average.
I've seen, news, scuttlebutt, whatever you want to call it, that he could potentially come back. I've not seen anything for saying
I'm wanting to say on Twitter he said he was coming back.
that's crazy.
Wow.
26.
He has to be off his parents' insurance this year.
Yeah, I'm 26.
Go play college ball.
I
dude.
apparently I can still play college basketball.
Yeah, you can.
You got eligibility?
Yeah, I got 4 years.
Oh,
You,
dude,
that
you're
means you can play till you're 35.
Hey.
No, hold on. Actually, you got 4 years, but is ECTC or we JUCO? Because that would give you an extra 2 years on top of the 4
I can play.
years.
I can play till I'm 32.
And then the COVID year, so
Yeah.
33. I'm gonna go out there and cook some 18-year-olds.
Worst case, you break an ankle or something, you still get an extra couple years for that.
Right.
yeah,
You might be playing up into your 40s.
you can double red shirt nowadays.
Make a few bangs in the process. Why not?
That is one. I'm glad you brought that up. At what point did we change the rules on medical red shirts? I thought you only got one,
Yeah,
and you had to sit out the whole year.
it's way different now.
I think it's you got to sit out a certain percentage of games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 70% of games, and then I think you can red shirt a second year.
And is it still if you get hurt your super senior year, it still counts?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Because
That's what happened to Kurt Reese, yeah.
that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Briar red shirted. He's a
That's
senior.
That's ridiculous.
that's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
I understand if you get hurt your freshman year, then you have your red shirt sophomore year. But if you've already been playing college ball for 5 years, and you get hurt 3 games into your super
I think it might be
senior
time
year-
to just hang it up at that point.
Yeah. Speaking of hanging it up, C.J. Frederick, former Kentucky guard, Iowa guard, Cincinnati guard, has officially retired from basketball.
I thought he retired like 3 years ago.
No, he officially retired about 2 days ago, 3 days ago. He put it out on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. You guys have any fond memories of C.J. Frederick?
Not any fond ones.
Very, very come and go.
Very forgettable player.
Yeah. He was one that, looking in the portal was like, gosh, he's going to come in and light it up.
He did not.
He did not.
He did not.
And I think really that plays into, just the whole Cal philosophy of basketball.
Yeah.
You get a shooter, and he's not going to be able to shoot anymore for some reason.
Yeah.
Same with Kellen Grady, Jamal Baker,
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Juzang,
Dante Allen.
Dante Allen. List goes on and on.
He just goes and goes and goes.
I've only heard of one of those guys.
They were all shooters, quote unquote.
Shooters that never played.
Juzang played at Kentucky?
Yeah.
He did.
He was on the
I
roster.
did not know that.
He played, 3 minutes his freshman year?
Yeah, he came in highly recruited,
Yeah.
and then Cal just never played him.
Did he transfer?
He transferred
He
UCLA.
transferred to UCLA.
Yeah.
He was on the
He's
team
kinda-
that,
He's kind of doing some work.
he was on the UCLA team, was it COVID year?
Yeah.
That went to the
The
Final Four.
championship
national
game, I think.
Yeah, championship game.
Yeah, they played the play-in game, made it all the way through, got
Yeah.
beat by Baylor.
Yeah. That's
That's
crazy.
crazy. I didn't know he was at Kentucky.
Yeah, that was another thing too. Cal has terrible luck with the West Coast kids.
Yeah. And the,
Jamal
Kentucky,
Baker,
and the Kentucky kids.
yeah, Johnny Juzang, who's Devin Askew.
Devin Askew. He's still playing.
Yeah,
Somehow.
he's bouncing around a lot
Yeah.
too. Ain't he? I think he's transferring from Long Beach State this year. He's back in the portal.
The world's longest beach.
Yeah, the longest beach.
Long Beach.
Who else is in the portal that's been around? Cameron Fletcher.
Cameron
Y'all remember
Fletcher.
him?
I have heard of him.
Yep. He transferred from Kentucky to Florida State to High Point, back in the portal again.
Where's he going?
Unknown.
Does anybody want him?
No.
Damian Collins is entered the portal recently.
Yep. Aaron Bradshaw in the
Aaron
portal.
Bradshaw.
Speaking of portal, Louisville been making a little bit of noise in the portal.
Yeah.
What,
Number one.
Number one in the portal.
Yeah.
How many guys have you all picked up?
3.
3.
Yeah.
3 guards.
Two guards for sure, then one that's kind of he could play.
Like a wing kind
Yeah.
of do it all type
We
guy.
still need a guy that can stretch the floor, which I think is going to be Pryor.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is he coming back for sure?
Not in stone.
Oh yeah.
Not in stone. No.
Which I don't know.
I don't know why he wouldn't though.
Right. I don't know about you, but I feel like things started to kind of click for Louisville after he got hurt.
Yeah, I don't necessarily credit that to him getting hurt. I just think with or without him there, we were kind of going to start ramping up. But
Yeah.
I think he would be a really, really good player if he just didn't shoot threes every time he touches the ball.
He did do that.
Dude, he would pull them. Against Indiana, he was going off. If he just plays like that, don't worry about a three. Just get to the paint.
Yeah.
You're a big guy.
He got hurt against Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know who he looks like?
Let me hear it.
Jesser the Laser. You remember him? From
Oh,
the
I
team?
know Jesser. Yeah.
He looks like Jesser, but like
I could kind of
an
see it.
albino Jesser.
Yeah, I could kind of see it.
I mean, I hope he comes back for y'all.
Yeah.
Is what it is, though, right?
Yep. If he doesn't, I was hoping to get Nate Ament, but with the portal moves, I don't.
I don't think Nate Ament knows where he's going.
No, he's waiting. He's waiting until he gets the biggest paycheck he can.
Yeah, he told everybody, he's just gonna not say anything right now. But I think I'll go to Duke.
I've been hearing a lot of chatter for Arkansas since we, just talking about Coach Cal.
For Nate Ament,
Yeah.
I know Tennessee and Kentucky were the two front runners in the SEC from the last I saw.
I think Kentucky has dropped out completely. I don't think they're targeting him at all anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was basically between Louisville, Duke, and Tennessee,
Yeah.
but I guess Arkansas.
Right, and so that's the thing. I was actually listening to, trying to keep up with the, national news, everybody. National news is saying nothing about Arkansas, right? But then the people inside Arkansas think they have a really good shot to get it.
It is Cal. That's what he does,
Right.
That is what he does.
and that would explain why they're.
Yeah, not really doing anything in the portal at the
Yeah.
moment.
It's Nate Ament, dude. He's pretty solid. I was hoping to see him and Michael Brown Jr. play together though.
But I think it's more likely on what you said. He's not going to say anything for a while until he knows for sure where he's going, and wherever that place is, it's whoever paid him the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to know, what is the longest drawn out high school recruitment? We got to be getting near it with him, right?
Most likely, yeah.
We're mid-April, and he says, I have no clue. I'm going to push it back to a later date.
Well, NIL kind of, you can blame it.
Oh yeah,
on that.
it's a bidding war.
Yeah.
That's the thing, too. If you're going to throw that much money at a freshman, that just seems like a big gamble.
I said he
in
better
the
be.
basketball world we're in
It
today.
does.
He better be a Cooper Flag, a John Wall, a Zion Williamson. He better be something like that.
I think he is.
I don't know.
He's just awful thin.
Yeah.
He is, but he kind of. Well, that is fair. Who was that? Who was the guy 4 years ago that was very highly recruited? Very tall, very thin.
4 years ago.
I'm drawing a blank on this one.
Yeah.
That'd been 2021.
Let me just.
Yeah, look it up real quick. Because, you talk about Zion, there was reason he was as highly recruited as he was.
He was an animal.
He was just a man-child.
Yeah.
Right? Cooper Flag, same way. 17 years old, and I hate to give Duke any props. Actually, I'm not giving Duke props. I'm giving Cooper Flag props,
Yeah.
right? Somebody that can score at all three levels, has the size to him.
Except at the last second.
Yeah, just don't give him the ball with 10 seconds left on the
Yeah.
clock. Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, whenever he got to Kentucky, rail thin.
Yeah.
But, his defensive ability
Was unmatched.
was, insane.
Unmatched.
So it's just kind of, I've not been keeping up with the whole Nate Ament thing very well with his actual play,
Yeah.
style and his ability. But just looking at him, he doesn't look like,
It was like if he comes to the SEC, he's gonna get bullied.
yeah,
He's playing against grown men.
right.
He might be.
Chaz Baker-Mazara he's checking, collecting Social Security next year.
Yeah. These guys are gonna have 40, 60 pounds on him easily.
Yeah. Johnny Broome, 30 years old.
Well, he's already declared for the draft.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Well, good deal. Well, surely, right? He's been in college.
I say he's 30 years old. He's got to.
Which actually, last time we talked, we found out he's only, 23, Austin?
Johnny Broome,
Yeah.
22 is the youngest starting five. The starting five.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he looks,
He looks 30.
yeah. Gib, you agree he looks 30?
Oh, for sure.
He's doing the LeBron James hiding his hairline with the sweatband shirt.
Yeah.
It made me think of the first Bad Boys movie, I think.
Yeah?
When Reggie came over. I can't repeat all the
Right.
words said, but it's like, oh, you look 30.
Yeah.
And that's what that made me think of.
Y'all been watching any baseball lately? We got a little baseball on the TV right now.
I've tuned into the Reds every now and again. They're hard to watch, but I'll tune in every now and then.
What do you think, Biddy?
I think it's an interesting season.
Big baseball guys.
Yankees came out hot, and now they're cold.
Yeah, actually getting beat 5-1 right now against San Francisco.
Bottom of the second.
Yeah.
Dod-
you just got a home
Dodgers
run
started
not long
8-0
ago?
and almost got swept.
Yeah.
That's serious.
I'm like you. I'm surprised they've not put this in a rain delay.
He's been
It looks
running
like it's
the whole
coming
time.
down. Also, we got any news on who we were thinking about?
Yes, we do. Imani Bates.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
What is he doing?
I'm about to look it up. I don't think he's doing anything.
Because remember, his recruitment was just a wild trail of events anyway. He was.
He plays for the Cavaliers.
Does he?
He averages 1.3 points, 0.1 rebounds, and 0.7 assists on 21% from the field.
That sounds about right.
Solid.
Because remember, whenever he was being recruited, it was all the big names. Kentucky, Duke, everybody big.
Florida State, Memphis. I think
Yeah.
he did it. He ended
He
up going
committed
to Memphis.
to Memphis, but then left before the season started or mid-season?
Might have been before the season started.
Because he ended up playing ball at Eastern Michigan. You remember that?
I don't. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
He committed to Penny Hardaway in Memphis. I don't remember if he ever actually played for them. If he did, it was not a full season. And then transferred to Eastern Michigan. Or he may have
He
just
is, he
committed.
is from Eastern Michigan, so I mean, I guess he wanted to be home, but still.
Eastern Michigan?
Yeah. So you're telling me out of Michigan State, Michigan, Kentucky, Georgia, Florida State, Duke, and Memphis, you're picking Memphis?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I think that really goes to show, kind of getting into the Kentucky transfer portal additions, Jaden Quaintance, making his way back to the Cats now. Obviously had committed under John Calipari. John Calipari leaves and goes to Arkansas. Jaden Quaintance kind of looking at his future, ends up going to Arizona State. You didn't hear anything about Jaden Quaintance this year.
No.
Same thing with Monty Bates back then. Once he went to Eastern Michigan, you didn't hear a word about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're a big star looking to go to the NBA, you need
You gotta
to
go to a big school.
You got to go to one of these, top tier programs.
Yeah. Kentucky, Duke, Tennessee.
Louisville.
No, I wouldn't
No.
say that.
Unless you're like Steph Curry, you can just go anywhere.
Right. But, Jaden Quaintance hadn't heard anything about him all year, transfers to Kentucky, and, he's everywhere now.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you have dreams of making it to the NBA,
You
maybe
got to go to a school that
It's gonna put your name out
people
there.
know about.
Yeah, that's on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never seen an Eastern Michigan game on TV.
No.
Never.
Arizona State.
Mm,
That was the Pac-12 after dark before they were the Pac-2.
Yeah.
Everybody's in bed when they're playing.
Yeah. That's a 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock tip-off for
Yeah.
us.
Kind of like Rutgers this year. They had two absolute superstars, and they were awful. They should have went somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, they got to play the style of ball they wanted, which was, hey, I'm going to score every point we get.
Yeah, but they lost almost every game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many Rutgers games did we see on TV this year?
None.
How many Rutgers games were interesting enough to even look for on TV this year?
None.
No.
Exactly.
I was like, we didn't even touch on any of them during any of the picks
No.
episodes.
So, you throw Ace Bailey on any other team in the
He's going to
country
dominate.
that has any name about him, you're going to hear about him all year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think him and Harper are still number 2 and 3 in the draft, but still.
Right. And just, I would like to know what that NIL package looked like.
Had to be fat.
Had to
Yeah.
They were the only
massive.
guys on the team,
Yeah.
so they're just splitting all of it.
It's like Rutgers has $10 million to spend on basketball. You're getting 5. You're getting 5.
Yeah, the other guys are just getting a scholarship.
Yeah.
Be happy you get to be on the team, brother.
Yeah.
That is crazy. But back to Kentucky transfer portal news. So Jaden Quaintance, makes his anticipated return to the Kentucky Wildcats. Have you listened to any interviews that he's done?
I have not.
I'm very impressed with how like mature he sounds for being so young.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, he was 16 when he committed to Kentucky. He left his high school early.
Yeah.
He was the one that had to stay at college for 2 years minimum because he wasn't even eligible to go to the draft because of his age.
He won't even be eligible to go to the draft until next year.
Right. He's got to play, or be in college this
Yeah.
full season as well. And so to be so young and be as mature as he is about things, very impressive listening to the guy talk for sure. Sounds very excited to be back in the good graces of Big Blue Nation.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds very excited to get back into Pope's system. He's talked about, he didn't really get to watch a lot of Kentucky this year, obviously playing for Arizona State, but seeing the highlights of what Mark Pope had Amari Williams doing is that kind of that point center.
Point center, yeah.
Yeah, point center position. He's like, that's something I really feel like I could excel in.
Oh, yeah.
Do well in the passing, the rebounding, but also having the ability to get downhill, get my own shot. And I think that's kind of what, Amari Williams was missing.
They always harp on Amari Williams being an athlete, but he had the ugliest jump shot.
Yeah.
If he was more than 3 feet away from the rim, he was not going to score.
Right.
He was not a threat whatsoever.
Why didn't he dunk it?
That's another thing. Why did he not dunk the ball?
Yeah.
If
You
I
don't
was
have to worry about that.
if I was blessed to be 7'2", playing in
Dunk it.
Kentucky, I am dunking the ball every chance I get. Even if it's not even accessible to dunk, I am going to try to dunk the ball.
Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about that anymore because I think Jaden Quaintance is going to look to dunk anytime he's within 5 feet of the rim.
And that's what we need, that aggressiveness.
Yeah,
Someone who's going to ruin careers.
yeah. And then somebody that also averaged over 2 blocks a game.
That's it. That's something else we were lacking last year.
Yeah, somebody to get in there and just create havoc when people are driving into the paint.
I think Mark Pope's really putting an emphasis on defense in this portal class.
Yeah,
That's something
defense, rebounding,
Yeah,
toughness.
that's what we lacked a lot last year with our defense for most of the year.
Yeah,
They kind of turned it on there towards the end, but it still wasn't nowhere near where it needed to be for us to be a national championship contender.
right. And then getting into the toughness, category, add Mo Diabate
The dude's a man.
from Alabama. This was a guy that could go out and defend your best player. He's going to hustle every time he's on the court. Go, look for rebounds. Look for just putting somebody on a poster. Looking to fight every time he's on the court. And actually, Alabama had him guarding Otega Oweh when Otega Oweh only got 2 points in that game against Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Broke his streak as the longest double-digit scoring for the University of Kentucky.
And now he's on our side.
Yeah, Mark Pope very willing to go out and get players that put on a show against him.
Yeah.
Whenever he was coaching.
Hey, I commend it. If you can't beat them, join them.
That's right. No, I agree with that completely. The other guy we added, point guard from Pitt. Insert name here,
Jalen Lowe.
Jalen Lowe.
I know it's Lowe. I don't if it's Jalen or Jalen
Yeah, don't want to mispronounce that. No
Yeah.
disrespect, Jalen, if you're listening.
or Jalen
Or
It's
yeah,
Jaden, isn't it?
Jaden.
or Jaden. Its last name is Lowe. We know
yeah.
that.
Either way, point guard.
Point
out
guard
Pitt.
at Pitt.
Rob
Average.
Lowe's cousin.
Rob
Yeah.
Lowe's cousin. I don't think he's Rob Lowe's cousin.
Probably not.
Averaged 16 points a game.
Yeah, something like that.
Had to take a lot of shots for a very bad Pitt
Mhm.
team last year. Austin actually kind of put his 2 cents in before we started this podcast, saying Kentucky fans were, harping on the ACC being weak all year, and now we're acting like they're the best thing
Yeah,
since we got one of their players.
definitely the best player on that team.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
and I think whenever he gets into a system where he doesn't have to be
The main
the
facilitator.
guy taking all the shots, scoring the points, I think that's really going to help him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his weaknesses or his strengths aren't shooting the ball. That's for sure. He's more of a facilitator if he has players.
Yeah.
Which kind of brings me to my point is we still need that shooter. We still need that guy that can go get a bucket whenever he needs to.
I agree with that.
That's the
Yeah.
one thing we're
Kind of
lacking.
like an Isaac McNeely
Probably
or
not.
a Woolley.
Nah.
Nah.
More of somebody that looks good in Kentucky blue.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen many of them.
I mean, really, it's probably about every player we've ever had.
There's about 1,000 of them. So
Yeah, but no. Back to Mr. Lowe. I really think getting into that offense, he's going to really excel. And everybody talks about well, maybe he's not a good shooter. He needs to be more of a facilitator. But remember what we said about Lamont Butler before the season started this year. That was a defensive guard. He shot 60% from the free throw line. Was not a 3-point shooter. You know, he's going to come in and lock down your best guy, but you don't look to get anything on the offensive side of the ball out of him. Lamont Butler at the end of the season, and then before he got hurt, you know, in that stretch in the middle of the year, I mean, that was one of the more trusted guys to go get a bucket.
Oh, yeah. I was never nervous when he had the ball in his hand.
Yeah.
We needed a bucket. I was never nervous.
No. Anytime he shot the three, never mad at it.
I mean, crying out loud, he dropped, what, 30 on Louisville?
Yeah, then the next game he dropped 4.
We still dropped 30 on Louisville.
Yeah,
He
I
did.
mean, MVP of that game, 10 for 10 from the free throw
Yeah.
line.
5 for 5 from 3.
I mean,
Don't say he didn't miss a single shot.
yeah. So it's like, you know, this was a guy that, like everybody said, he is a defensive guard. Don't look to get much offense out of him. And then in Mark Pope's system,
He's right.
became very much one of our most trusted guys
For sure.
on the offensive side of the ball.
I mean, I do feel like he's kind of always had the scoring in him, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That buzzer beater he hit in the tournament for, was it San Diego State?
Yep.
Is that where it came from?
In their Final Four.
Yeah.
Then the next guy that Kentucky picked up, this has kind of been the guy that's least talked about, Cam Williams out of Tulane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, big 6'8" forward. Kind of, I don't know, really viewed as more of a project.
I think he'll be a solid bench player for us.
Yeah, somebody to come in and just, I think, kind of
Give you
like
good
said,
10 minutes, just hustle play.
Yep, give you a lot of hustle,
Yeah.
give you a lot of toughness. Somebody that's not going to be back down easily.
Yeah.
Somebody like that, and like you said, something that this team was, lacking all year.
Yeah.
All the positives they had, just toughness and going after the ball was something that they kind of struggled with.
Some scuttlebutt that I've been hearing, Brandon Garrison may be looking to enter the portal.
I have heard that.
Where's he going, in the octagon?
Probably. I mean, I'm not saying I want to lose him, but I wouldn't be terribly mad if we did lose him.
Yeah.
Like Austin's kind of hitting that. He's got a bit of a temper that almost got us in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, like 4 times.
Yeah, almost lost us a game against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That it's eventually going to bite us.
Yeah.
And he's not that big. I mean, I do not like him at all, but he's not that big of a threat. On
He's
offense.
not a scoring threat, and he's not that much of a defensive
No,
threat.
he's not. He's just a.
Like,
If you want to get hit in the face threat.
If he's going to play for us, he's got to make a huge leap, both offensively and defensively, if he's going to succeed at Kentucky.
Yeah. One thing that, we had been hearing for pretty much since the portal opened was we were going to get the guy from Spain, from Robert
And
Morris.
he's still undecided.
Well, from what I heard today, he is, taking Kentucky out of his, top 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was Kentucky, Tennessee, and Purdue or Iowa, like some random school. But now that's switched. It's like, it's Providence. Sorry.
Providence.
Yeah, it
Providence.
was Kentucky, Tennessee, and Providence. Now that has switched. Last time I seen it's like Providence, Illinois, and Purdue or something.
So it turns out he's probably not that good.
Maybe not that good.
What's
or
his name?
I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah, he's
Spanish.
from Spain. But yeah, so I mean, if we were going to lose Brandon Garrison, I would have liked to have seen us pick him up.
And I think if we did pick him up, I think that's Garrison's ticket out of there.
Yeah,
No, he's not. I don't think he's not in the mindset to compete for a starting position. Either he's going to start or he's walking.
right.
Speaking
Speaking
I don't know
of
that he's going to start many places, though, dude.
right,
I mean, unless he goes to like a.
Sienna, Iona,
Yeah.
yeah, High Point. He'd be a baller. at High
He'd
Point.
be a baller, yeah.
McNeese. Yeah. Speaking of not wanting to compete for a starting spot, Caden Lewis
Nope.
decommits from Kentucky last night at the hour of 10 o'clock at night.
Goodbye and good riddance. If you're not willing to compete for your starting position, I don't want you.
Right. I mean, I don't know what he expected coming in. I don't know what those conversations were like when he was being recruited, but I think, kind of from what I'm picking up, he feels like he was maybe recruited over with the
Yeah.
addition of Lowe coming in from Pitt. But, brother, we got to have a serviceable point guard.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he had a role next year on the team, even with Lowe
maybe
coming
backup point guard or
Yeah.
something like that.
in. I mean, we seen this year. You can never have too many guards on a team.
Oh yeah,
If you have one guy go down, the next guy has to come up. I think he would have had a very, clear role on this team.
Mhm.
Obviously, just not something he wanted to be a part of, though.
he wants to be the star, and it wasn't going to happen here.
Right? And, we've seen in Mark Pope's offense, he's not playing anybody 35
No.
minutes a game.
Even your best player, he's not going to play 30 minutes.
Yeah, so it's like, I feel like they had that conversation.
Yeah.
But like you said, I guess he was coming in expecting he was going to be the guy, going to be running the offense from
I
day
think a
one.
lot. I think a lot of these freshmen are going to start realizing, oh man, I'm not going to be the top guy like we would have been 10 years ago.
Right.
It's going to be grown men ahead of me, and I got to work and work and work to get my starting position.
Right.
Unless you're like a ESPN top 10.
Unless you're a Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
I would say, top 5, top 10, they're probably going to start, but then you get to, 5 years ago, you can be a 60th out of the ESPN top 100.
Yeah.
You're
a
playing.
starter.
Look at Kentucky's roster 5 years ago versus this past year. 5 years ago, we had 4, maybe 5 freshmen starting.
Right.
This year, not a single one.
Right. And I think that's what you're going to see moving forward through all of college basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm like you. At what point is it like, do I spend, $1 million on this freshman that I don't really know what I'm going to get in the college game, or do I go, to Pitt or SMU, Kennesaw State, and get this guy that's put up 16, 17, 25 points a game?
As an established reputation in college, as
Yeah.
opposed to not any reputation.
Right. 20 years old, has been playing basketball in college against college level athletes for 2-3 years. I think that's the way the game's moving.
Even Rick Pitino said he's not even going to mess with high schoolers anymore just because you don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
You might overpay for somebody that's not going to produce for you.
Exactly. And what is there any examples of that we can think of right off the top of our head?
What do you mean?
Overpaying for a freshman that didn't really come through for you in the first
Boogie Flynn?
Boogie Flynn.
Carter Knox. I think of
Yeah.
Arkansas guys.
Right.
Knox was all right. I would say he's
Yeah.
better than Boogie Flynn.
Yeah.
Billy Richmond. It's
There's
only
a lot of
Arkansas.
guys.
It's only Arkansas guys come to mind.
But I don't know. I'm just trying to think
Now let's look at the
let's think back, obviously NIL wasn't a thing during the COVID season, right? But imagine how much money we would have had to pay
Brandon
Brandon
Boston.
Boston,
Terrence Clark.
RIP.
R.I.P.
But imagine what the price tag those guys would have commanded
Oh, it'd be-
for us to go 9-16.
It'd be $5 million between Boston, Terrence Clark, and Isaiah Jackson. Been $5 million between all three of them.
Right. And, the best part of that season was Isaiah Jackson, jumping out of the gym, doing crazy athletic things. But you didn't really get anything out of Brandon Boston Jr.
Terrence Clark was hurt.
Terrence Clark was hurt a lot, so it's like, that's still going to happen. And now you've paid this kid, millions of dollars.
I think before too long, you're going to see schools adapt contracts to where, all right, you got to perform to this caliber if you want this amount of money. If you
Yeah.
don't, we're going to keep some of that money until you start performing.
Right.
And incentivize them to play better.
I wonder, you bring up the contract thing, is it going to get to the point where it's like, hey, if you want $5 million, you have to stay here 2 years?
Yeah, I think it eventually it's going to get to that point.
Yeah, and that'd be interesting for the college game.
I think it'd be good for the college game. It holds these players accountable. We're not just throwing money at them and just for them to just even show up here.
Right.
We're about holding them accountable. You gotta, if you're coming to Kentucky, you're gonna play to Kentucky standards.
Yeah, it feels good not having to worry about that as much anymore.
Oh yeah.
Now it's Arkansas's problem.
For sure. One thing I wouldn't mind seeing, and I might be the only one that has this opinion, but seeing the transfer portal have a limit, you can't transfer 2 years in a row. If
Yeah.
you
You be like
transfer 1
Kirk.
year,
You be like Kirk Creason and transfer every year.
right? If you transfer 1 year, you should have a cool down of another year.
Yeah.
So you should be at that school for a minimum of 2 years, and then you can go
Well, and
take your talents elsewhere.
it kind of used to be like that as well. Remember, because if you transferred, you had to sit the
Right.
next year. What happened to that? Am I stupid and it still happens? God, I don't feel like I've seen it.
No, it doesn't happen.
No, I don't think it happens.
But remember, it's like if you transferred, you had to sit the next year, and then you could play the following year.
I mean, if that was the case, we wouldn't have had a team this year.
Right.
We'd be rolling with Travis Perry, Trent Noah, and
Colin Chandler.
Colin Chandler,
That'd have been
Walker
rough.
Horn.
It might have been dangerous.
Yeah,
That would have been a team right there, but
that's not even an NIT team.
no,
I
that's
guess they're all coming back for sure.
as of right now.
No official word on
Yeah,
any of
no,
them.
nobody has said for sure.
You gotta wonder if they will, though.
I wouldn't be surprised if Travis Perry is out of here.
I would say looking at the Kentucky roster specifically, no news is
Yeah.
good news.
Now with Caden Lewis ditching us. I think Travis Perry's more inclined to stay because that means more minutes for him potentially.
Right. I don't see Trent Noah going anywhere.
No, I think he's happy where he's at.
Yeah, I don't see Colin Chandler going anywhere.
And similar with him, I think he's happy where he's at.
Yeah. Plus, Colin Chandler's fiance
As already said.
Yeah, they're going to be moving to Lexington, or
Yeah.
she's going to be moving to Lexington. I don't know what she does, but some kind of blog post or something.
It'd be an ideal scenario is all three of them stay all 4 years and they just become fantastic role players for us. They're never. I don't think they're ever going to be superstars, but they can be really good, just foundation players for
Yeah.
us.
I don't know. I could see Chandler.
I can see Chandler kind of popping off one
Yeah.
Junior year,
Yeah, maybe.
junior, senior year, he'd be an animal.
He's athletic enough to where he can be that.
Right.
But Noah and Perry just don't have that athleticism.
Yeah. One thing too, biggest thing about Kentucky this year, you talk transfer portal, you can see who we're going to bring in. Biggest thing is keeping Otega away.
That's the key to the game right now. Is keeping
Yeah.
him. I don't see him leaving. Of course, I've heard Auburn threw a bunch of money at him
Right.
and he turned it down. Now I don't know if that's true or not, but if that is true, I feel really good about keeping him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, could you? That would be a gut punch.
Oh,
To
that,
check your Twitter one day and see Otega Oweh in the transfer portal.
or an NBA draft or whatever.
Yeah, NBA draft and not retaining his eligibility.
Yeah,
Speaking-
that'd be a gut punch from hell.
Yeah, like Adu Fierro
Yeah.
declared for the NBA draft, but is not keeping his eligibility open
So
to
there's
return to Arkansas.
No,
He's-
no chance he comes back.
Nope, straight up going. Same thing, Boogie Flam, just straight up going.
I don't know if he's good enough, boys.
Who?
Boogie Flam.
No,
I don't think he is.
and that'll be the thing too. I think you see a lot less freshmen enter the NBA draft
Yeah.
moving forward. too.
NBA might be in trouble.
Yeah,
They're gonna have to start getting older guys.
right. What's these Bowman U cars going to look like in 2 years?
Yeah.
But I mean, if every NBA team's going to do that, it's just going to be the normal in the NBA.
Right.
Now they might start losing viewership because it's just going to be a bunch of old farts out there playing. But
They're already losing viewership.
Yeah, the NBA sucks.
Dude, I love it. I watch it all the time.
I
Do you
can't.
really?
Mhm.
I can't stand to sit down and watch an NBA game.
I won't
It's
watch.
the basketball at the highest level possible.
Yeah, but it just looks so lazy.
It's really
There's
not,
no
dude.
defense.
No defense.
There's a ton of defense.
No defense.
They jack up 53s every night.
So do college.
Well, they're starting to get that way, but they just don't look like they're trying. Maybe it's just because they're so good, it doesn't even look like they are. But
The
me-
reason that it doesn't look like there's defense is because you got like the best offensive players in the world. I mean, it's just hard to stop them.
But with that, you should have it. You should have the best defensive players in the world too. If you can get
You
the best.
should, but I don't know. I think offense kind of outweighs defense.
Oh no, I agree with you 100%. But you still got to have that elite defense. If you're in the NBA making $20 million to play basketball,
Right.
you should be able to do both.
Now, I will say, when NBA playoff basketball comes around,
It's high.
I'll tune into
Top
the final.
tier,
I'll
yeah.
tune into the finals.
And then I think another thing that kind of makes it feel lazy too is there's 82 games.
Yeah.
So if you lose, 5 games here, it's not really going to affect anything
Whereas in
Right.
college, you
until
just,
it gets to the end of the season, like it is right now. It's
I
almost
say if you lose
playoffs.
5 games in a row in college, that can kill your season.
Oh, you're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
speaking of NBA basketball, Denver Nuggets fire their head coach.
That's crazy.
I mean, they're, fourth in the West?
Yeah.
They still got. I mean, they're in the playoffs, aren't they?
Yeah,
So-
fourth in the West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The West is kind of really stacked this year. So, they
Yeah.
could lose 2 games and go from 4th to 8th.
Yeah.
But still,
But now's not the time to fire your coach.
No. you
Nobody's
got-
taking number 1. OKC's probably going to win the championship.
you think so?
OKC, I'd say OKC, the Cavs, the Nuggets, or the Celtics. I don't want the Celtics to win. I cannot stand Jason Tatum.
If we get another performance like we got last year, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Don't get me wrong, he's a very, very good basketball player, but he's just not a
Terrible
original.
actor.
He steals quotes from every legend. Like, dude, be
Col-
your own.
Kobe, KG,
Yeah, Steph.
Steph,
Like, you're literally one of the best players in the league. You could.
make your own
You're on
brand.
the same level as the stars that you're stealing all this from. You could make your own.
Yeah, make your own brand.
That's crazy stealing quotes from a guy that's still in the league.
Yeah.
Like, y'all just played the other night, and now you're saying the same thing he said.
Right.
That's
Only
embarrassing.
whenever he said it, it was good because he came up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
But yeah, Nuggets firing their coach,
That's
this
crazy.
close to the playoffs. You got arguably the best player in the world on your basketball team.
There's no arguing about it.
Bold move.
Yeah.
Bold move.
Did you see his the interview with Jokic? He was like, I knew this before about anybody. They told me it was a business decision. I said, I understand. That's all he said.
The best Jokic video I've ever seen is whenever he won the finals, and they're like, "Hey, you're ready for the parade Thursday, right?" And he's like, "Oh no parade."
Yeah.
He's like, "I must go home to horses."
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
Man loves his
Yeah,
horses.
he doesn't. He's just so good. He doesn't even care.
Yeah.
Like that. He hit a crazy buzzer beater one night, and they asked him about it, and he said, you know, the announcer's hype. He's just like, what about that shot? He's like, 20 years when I'm on the couch, I'll look back and say that was a good shot.
Love
What a
it.
guy.
Love it.
I seen a video on the internet the other day. It's like Serbia's just making mini Jokic's, and it's this little like probably 10-year-old kid. And he's just standing there just jacking up threes, you know, throwing behind the back passes, just nasty. It doesn't look like he's even trying at all.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, 5 foot tall, little chunky kid, like just out there hooping.
It is crazy, dude.
Best player in the world,
Yeah, easily.
and doesn't even care.
No,
Yeah, but
no
he-
argument there.
Yeah, there's.
Oh.
I mean, a 60-point triple double. Come on, dude.
No parade. I go for horses.
If he doesn't win MVP, I mean, don't get me wrong, Shea's having a crazy year. But every time you tune into a Thunder game, he's at the free throw line. Jokic does it from anywhere.
Legitimately anywhere.
He does it from
Yeah.
90 feet away.
Like literally, he will make those.
Now, Austin, tell me, since you're a little more tuned into NBA than the rest of us, at what point do they announce MVP?
It's coming up pretty soon.
See, I don't agree with that.
Actually, I think it's before the playoffs.
If you're
I
in
could
the
be wrong.
MVP race, the playoffs should calculate into that.
Oh, for sure.
Like, you know, if it's down between Jokic and Shea, and for some reason Thunder get knocked first round,
And the Nuggets win it all.
that's a knock
clear
on Shea.
MVP.
Yeah. You know, that's one thing that drives me crazy is when leagues announce the MVP before the end of the season.
Yeah, at least have like a. I mean, I guess they kind of do have a regular season MVP, then a Finals MVP, but
Finals MVP is just like a, I don't know. That
It's
feels
like a charity
Yeah,
award.
it feels like a consolidation prize.
yeah, and that I mean,
Like you were the best player on your team for potentially 7 games.
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that.
yeah. I don't know. I am ready for the playoffs to start though, dude. It starts getting pretty high.
That'll be coming up soon, right?
That's when you'll see your
That's when you see the
top-tier
defense.
defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Draymond Green out there punching people in the neck,
yeah.
trying to get the ball.
Yeah, now they got a new one. Is his name Isaiah Stewart?
Yeah.
He's a menace, dude.
Is he? Was he the one?
Dirty.
Was there like they had another incident with the Pistons? It was as bad as the Mouse in the Palace.
Yeah.
Was that with Golden State?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know who started it?
Isaiah Stewart?
Yep.
That's what I thought. I seen that. Where did he play college ball at?
Was it Baylor?
Was it Isaiah? I remember Kentucky recruited him. You know, he was a Kentucky recruit when Cal was here. He ended up going elsewhere. But I do remember the name Isaiah Stewart.
I don't remember him.
He's a big dude. Center, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're going to move into our, way too early college basketball projections for next
Hold on,
year.
before we do that,
Yes.
he played for the Huskies. Washington.
Oh, okay.
Washington Huskies.
That's right. Because it was Isaiah Stewart, and that was when Keon Brooks transferred,
Yeah.
and Severe
Severe
Wheeler
Wheeler,
also
yeah.
went to Washington. Yeah, they thought they were going to have a little squad there.
Didn't
and
have
I think they
anything.
Didn't have nothing.
went, 15 and 15.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the way too early. Number 1 team overall for next season, Houston Cougars.
I didn't realize they were retaining as many players as they are.
Well, nowadays there's no limit, so you can just bring back anybody.
Right. So they're saying, they're going to have the return of Emmanuel Sharp and Joseph Tugler. Projecting Milos Uzan to turn pro. Don't see anything in here about
Cryer.
Cryer. I would
Might be in
assume,
trouble.
his eligibility is exhausted.
I think their game plan for the most part is everybody plays really good defense, and then Cryer has to score 30,
Yeah.
and then they might win a game.
Because their projected starter lineup, they've got 3 freshmen coming in, the number 20, 13, and number 6 players on the ESPN 100 list, along with their 2 returners of Sharp and Tugler.
I think that's a bold take to put them at number 1.
I think it is too. I mean, this is the best Houston team they've ever had from all accounts of the national media. and now you're replacing, like you said, Cryer with a potential freshman.
Yeah, it's
Not a good look.
I don't know
Not a
about
good look.
that.
maybe they got some insider info that we don't know yet. They might get somebody big or something. I don't know.
Maybe. All right, number 2. This is going to run through Austin. Purdue Boilermakers.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Not a chance, right?
No.
They are going to return Braden Smith as of right this moment. Looks to be like he's not going to enter the transfer portal. I know that was one guy that all Kentucky fans were looking for.
Yeah.
Same with McNeely. Not Isaac, but
Liam.
Liam.
He's going to the draft, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's really good.
So it looks like they're going to return pretty much their entire roster except center. They got a Oscar Clough from South Dakota State, averaged 17.6 points per game out there in South Dakota. They could be good, but it
Yeah.
don't matter.
No,
They're still not going to do anything in the tournament.
wouldn't be surprised. I was waiting for you to say Zach Eady's returning or something.
Zach Edey sucks.
I can't stand him.
All right, moving on. Number 3, Louisville Cardinals.
Oh yeah.
So they say Pat Kelsey's had as strong of offseason as any coach in the country through the first couple of weeks of the transfer portal. Got Ryan Cronwell out of Xavier, Isaac McNeely, and Adrian Woolley from Kennesaw State. Pair that with top 10 recruit Mikael Brown Jr. There's still some questions in the front court though.
Yeah,
Taysom Pryor still hasn't said for sure he's going to come back.
Hadley is for sure coming back.
Javon Hadley is for
I'm,
sure.
I'm very, very pleased with that.
Is that insider information?
Yeah, he actually called me before we started the pod.
Good deal.
No, I saw it on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Pryor's still up in the air. I'm thinking it's probably like a 70-30 when
Yeah.
he comes back.
Would he, if he didn't come back, would that be transfer portal?
Yes. Yeah, probably.
I mean, he wouldn't be on any draft radar.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no.
I mean, coming off an injury like he did, I mean, I think your best bet is to come back to the school you were playing at.
Right.
Unless, you were getting recruited over.
Yeah. I mean, he did travel with the team every game.
Yeah.
That helps. Like, I mean, if he wasn't there in like the last 10 games, you can go ahead and write him off. But
Right. What do you think about Ali Khalifa potentially coming in?
I mean, I'm nervous about it. But
I'll tell you what,
see
his
what he's got.
his body transformation from BYU to Louisville was really insane.
Yeah,
He cut a lot of weight, put on a lot of muscle. It looked like
yeah, he dialed in.
he could definitely be a serviceable option at
Yeah.
that center position. All right, number 4, UConn Huskies. So Dan Hurley, gets knocked out of the tournament, doesn't get the three-peat, loses his mind a few times during the season. He has actually been linked to the Denver Nuggets job, probably just looking for another
Yeah.
raise out of UConn. But
I think he fits NBA better than college.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like the Huskies are going to go back to taking a step back.
Yeah.
They locked in, got some really good dudes, went on that two-peat, but I just don't see.
I think Hurley's getting too big for his britches.
Yeah, I don't see that continuing to go as well as it had in the
Yeah.
past.
I mean, they gotta see the way he behaves on the sidelines, and you gotta think, why do they want to keep dealing with that?
Yeah, that is true. All right, number 5, Michigan Wolverines. Dusty May, previous FAU coach, had a little decent season up there in Ann Arbor. Ann Arbor?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, because Michigan State is East Lansing.
Yes.
Yeah, so Ann Arbor, Michigan. Big transfer portal land for them is Yaxel Lindenborg. Does Yaxel Lindenborg play for the Michigan Wolverines next year, though, is the big question. Do you guys tracking what's going on with him?
There's rumors he's just gonna say, to hell with it, I'm going to the draft.
Yeah. Have you heard about Yaxel, Austin?
It sounds like you should be making chocolates or something.
He does sound like a chocolatier. Yaxel Lindenborg. Very Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
But no, so it was down between Michigan and Kentucky for that one. He ends up picking Michigan over Kentucky. But some rumor going around is he is looking for a guaranteed contract out of the NBA. And if he gets any type of guarantee from any team, he's going to the draft. And so, second round team comes in, guarantees $2 million.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, do I want to make $2 million in the NBA or $2.5 million in Michigan? Potentially get hurt, never go to the NBA.
It's a tough call to make.
That
I
is.
mean, the rookie contracts kind of suck, but
Right, and I think kind of where he's looking at is like late first round, beginning of the second round. I seen it that like late 20, early 30 pick. You're looking at like around $2 million,
Yeah.
2.5. But yeah, definitely a big decision for him there. Doesn't include any of us. Moving on to number 6 in the preseason, the Kentucky Wildcats.
Should be number 1.
Should be number 1. This list was actually made prior to Jaden Quayton's.
So
making
we'll
his
probably be
return.
number 1 on Monday.
Yeah, I would say so. So they loaded up. Says we got transfers Jalen Lowe.
Jalen.
Yep, Cam Williams, Jasper Johnson, Malachi Moreno coming in. Fingers crossed Otega Oweh comes back. Get Jaden Quayton's. Caden Lewis is no longer coming.
Mhm.
This article says he is.
Goodbye.
But then you return, Colin Chandler, Travis Perry, Trent Noah. Pretty good little roster.
Solid roster.
Like you said, I think we just need
Need that shooter.
one more shooter, somebody to go
Get a
get
bucket.
their own shot. There's some guys out in the portal still. The guy from Sam Houston State.
Yeah.
What's his name? Williams?
Jackson Williams.
Sounds right. I don't know. But anyway,
I see his
we know
face.
who, 20.5 points a game
Yeah.
down there at Sam Houston State. So I think that could be a very serviceable lineup of Jalen Lowe, Jasper Johnson, Otega Oweh, Muhammad Diabatu, and Brandon Garrison potentially at 5, or Jaden Quayton's once he gets healthy off that ACL injury.
question: whenever happened to the transfer from UAB?
That's Yaxel.
Oh, that's Yaxel.
Yeah,
Okay.
UAB transfers Yaxel Gordenberg.
Okay. I never knew a name. I just
Everybody was all about this UAB guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the number one, target in the portal, or the number 1 ranked player in the portal. But just does he play college ball next year? So it's like Michigan gave him the NIL guarantee. It's just, is he going to take it? All right, number 7, John Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks. All right, looks like DJ Wagner's coming back for his junior year. That's kind of unheard of.
That's
where else is he gonna go? Draft don't want him.
I mean, he could go on Indeed.
Yeah, flip some burgers.
I mean, 11.2 points per game. That's a guy that any other year Cal is pushing out.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's a big, obviously he knows his dad played for him at UMass.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they got a good enough relationship. He's like,
That might just be a favor to him.
yeah, because like you said, he's not going to the NBA.
No.
Not going to the G League.
Might go to China.
Might maybe go to China.
Maybe go to China.
He made a few
overseas
guys
somewhere.
to go to China.
Mm,
Forced Kyle Wiltshire out, made him go to Gonzaga. That was
Yeah.
kind of dirty.
that was dirty.
But Adu Fierro going to the draft, Boogie Flan going to the draft, adding, 2-star freshmen again, number 5 and number 10 in the ESPN 100. Looking like they're going to get Carter Knox back, Billy
Mhm.
Richmond. Trevon Brazile.
He's kind of nasty.
Up in the air, though, if he's coming back or not.
I heard Louisville might get him. I don't know.
Really?
No.
Oh. But,
Sounded good though.
it is kind of up in the air if he's going to come back. So, they've got him in the projected starting lineup here on ESPN, but no guarantees there. All right, number 8, Duke Blue Devils. So, obviously they're going to have to reload,
Mhm.
very similar to what Kentucky was doing in the past. They got the Boozer twins coming in, Caden and Cameron.
No, they're a problem.
Are they better than their dad was?
Oh
or-
yeah.
Oh wow.
So,
well, they're different play style.
yeah,
They can-
totally different.
Yeah, very different. They can shoot.
Yeah. Cameron is the better of the two. He's the number 3 overall prospect in the ESPN 100. Caden is number 16. So still, not a bad pickup there.
No.
And then they got, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Number 21 in the ESPN 100. And Malik Brown coming back 2.4 points per game. It just kind of looks like Duke's hinging on, hey, are these guys going to be Cooper Flagg and Con Knuppel?
Knuppel.
Yeah. Are they?
The dude with the face of a third grader.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Kind of a bad
Not,
look.
not a good look for them.
Don't love it. All right, number 9, St. John's Red Storm. Was anybody surprised about the early exit from Rick Pitino and St.
No.
John's?
They
No?
can't score.
That is true.
Hard to win
I was
if you
surprised
can't
they-
score.
I was surprised it was Arkansas that knocked him off.
We called it. Me and Stu.
I thought maybe it'd be the Sweet 16, but I can't say I was totally surprised.
Yeah. But their best player, R.J. Lewis Jr., didn't play pretty much the whole second half of that
Got
game
benched.
against Arkansas. Got benched.
Yeah, he wasn't playing defense.
Yep, he's hit the portal. Haven't heard anything about him as to
I
where he's
haven't.
going, but
Not either.
Rick Pitino did pick up Bryce Hopkins out of the portal from Providence.
Another 30-year-old guy.
Yeah.
Previously played for Kentucky.
Very unfortunate injuries that have happened to him. Got a guy at Arizona State from the portal as well. Could potentially be good. Looks like he's trying to add some more offense.
Need it
Yeah.
bad.
Then UCLA rounding out our top 10. So they actually went and got Donovan Dent from New Mexico. That was the one that was on Kentucky's target board heavy.
Yeah.
He announced actually during the Sweet 16 game as we're getting dog walked by Tennessee that he's going to UCLA. So,
When
Kick
it
you
rains,
while you're down.
yeah, kind of an
when it
asshole.
rains,
move.
it pours.
Love
Yeah.
to see it.
But he averaged 20.4 points per game at New Mexico. And then Sky Clark playing for the UCLA Bruins. I don't know if anybody's aware of that. Former Kentucky commit.
He's still playing.
He is. 8.5 points per game last year for the Bruins. But, UCLA's not going to do anything.
No.
How many times have we seen UCLA in the top 10 of a preseason projection and they lose, 13, 14 games?
Yeah, you just can't play good ball on the West Coast.
No. Their best team was that Lonzo Ball team,
Oh yeah.
and they still got knocked out. What was Elite 8
Mhm.
against Kentucky? But, if you're not doing it with Lonzo Ball, you ain't doing it.
No.
I'm kind of surprised Mick Cronin still has a job, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could have been Cal.
Could have been, maybe should have been Cal.
Maybe should have been
Would
Cal.
that have been the best time for Cal to leave?
I think that would have been the best time for him to leave.
Yeah. All right. Number 11. We're not going to run all the way through these. I'm just going to look at the top 25, anything that seems like it may stand out. But number 11, Alabama, does kind of stand out. They're finally losing Mark Sears.
Finally.
He has exhausted all 15 years of eligibility,
That's what it felt like.
Surprised he doesn't have a 16th.
right? But Aiden Holloway, pretty good little freshman for them this year. He's definitely coming back. They have picked up Taylor Bolin out of the transfer portal from Florida State. He was one guy that Kentucky was looking at one point. Nate Oates, also on that list of coaches potentially going to the Nuggets that they've reached out to.
I think I'd rather see him go than Danny Hurley.
Yeah, it would affect us.
Yeah, it would help us.
All right. Real quick, though, Nate Oates, he was a high school basketball coach.
A math teacher.
Yeah,
He's a math teacher.
that's a crazy come up he's
Yeah.
had. What did that conversation look like? Hey, I have to stop being your math teacher and basketball coach because I'm going to college.
Principal Smith, I won't be here next year. I'm going to coach the Buffalo, whatever they are.
Bison?
Probably, yeah.
Who?
Buffalo?
University.
I don't know what they are.
The Bills?
Their mascot's a buffalo. I don't know if it's the
Yeah.
Bills, the Bison, or the Buffaloes, or whatever.
I remember Kentucky played him at Buffalo
Yeah.
in the tournament. What was that, 2017?
Yeah.
They were pretty sneaky. They beat Arizona in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And then, obviously after that season, he goes to Alabama, has done really good things. That'd be a next stepping stone for him, going from high school, Buffalo, Alabama,
The
NBA.
NBA.
Yeah, not bad. All right, number 12, Auburn. And holy shit, Austin was right. Chaz Baker-Mazara has another year of eligibility if he wants to use it.
Yeah, he'll be 26.
How does he have another year of
Who
eligibility?
knows?
It's not even a joke. We used to joke about Johnny Broom being 30. This guy's actually 26. He's
He's
going to be
pushing
26.
He's my age.
He's 25 as we speak, but next year he will definitely be 26.
That is insane.
Possibly 27, depending on when his birthday falls.
That's crazy.
That's not
No, it can't
right.
be. He'd be 26.
That can't be right.
That's not fair.
No.
Somebody lied on his birth certificate.
Yeah, I am 12.
Yeah.
All right, Auburn. Go get a job, Chad.
Yeah.
All right, Iowa State, number 13, they suck.
Yeah, not even worried about that.
Wisconsin.
Not worried.
Real quick, Wisconsin basketball, Wisconsin football. They're always in the preseason top 25 in most sports, and they always suck.
Other than 2015.
Unless they have Frank the Tank.
Yeah, yeah. But, the best part of usually, the first 2 weeks of college football is a high-ranked Wisconsin team taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide, and they get dog-walked.
Yeah.
Love to see it every year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 15, Kansas Jayhawks, Bill Self. Is this the end of Bill Self in Kansas?
Let's sure hope so.
It's not looking good for him.
It's not looking good for him.
I'm tired of hearing about him.
Number 16, BYU Cougars. They get the number 1 recruit, AJ Dabonsa.
Don't ask me.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds right? Apparently, they threw him a bag.
Oh, I'm sure they had to.
Yeah, but so he's coming in to BYU. I don't think he's even Mormon. How's that work?
Jackson
so.
Robinson wasn't.
Right? Like, is that weird to be on campus at a Mormon school and not be Mormon?
Oh,
Yeah,
I would
numbers.
say so.
That's got to be like a culture trip, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if you're Catholic. Like,
Major culture dip.
where's the church at? They're
Yeah.
like, we don't do that.
Try Texas somewhere.
Yeah, get out of here. All right, Arizona. Sure, right?
Yeah, no
Yeah.
worries.
Michigan
Always.
State, number 18. Tom Izzo. Got to be getting close to the end of his
Yeah,
career,
he's
right?
He's got to be getting close.
He's getting up there, boys.
Got a lot of guys coming back, though. Florida, number 19. They're losing Walter Clayton Jr. Obviously, he's out of eligibility. Will Richard and Elijah Martin are also leaving. So they're bringing in some freshmen, probably going to be looking in the transfer portal as well. Is this kind of disrespectful? Winning the national championship, you do lose a few pieces, but being 19,
Yeah, but you do.
I mean, they lost their piece.
They lost the main piece.
that is true. You guys, you'll probably know this, but Walter Clayton Jr. played for Rick Pitino at Iona.
Yep.
You know what Rick Pitino said about him?
What do you say?
Said he's fat, lazy, and can't pass.
Proved him wrong.
Yeah,
Maybe that was the
Yeah.
motivation he needed.
maybe it was. All right, number 20, Gonzaga. They're going to be. I'm surprised they're not higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody loves to slob on Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Wait until the too early comes out.
Yeah,
They'll be number 1.
Yeah, number 1 or number 2. Tennessee, number 21, Zakai Ziegler. Finally.
Finally gone.
I'm glad.
Yeah. But I think they got another midget coming in to play for them.
Bow wow.
Yeah. Texas Tech. It's kind of weird.
Man.
Yeah.
Ohio State.
Man.
They were trash.
They were
this year.
trash,
I mean,
yeah.
they beat us, but they were god awful.
Squirrel's gonna find his nut.
Yeah. Number 24, Texas. Maybe.
Surely Trey Jones is that his name? Trey Johnson?
Trey Johnson. He got to be going to the draft.
Gotta
right?
be.
And then number 25, North Carolina.
Big comment.
I don't agree with that.
I agree with that all.
Ian Jackson hit the portal. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I mean, they got some, Caleb Wilson coming in, number 7 in the ESPN 100. Derek Dixon, number 52 in the ESPN 100. But you're losing a lot of pieces to graduation and portal.
Yeah.
And then even then, they were terrible.
They were
this
bad.
year.
They were bad with those pieces.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, boys. I do not know. All right, guys. Anybody? We got anything else we need to talk about tonight for the Kentucky Prime Sports Podcast? Actually, there's one thing. Masters this weekend. Who's watching the Masters?
No, probably not me.
What do you mean?
If I'm at my dad's house, I will, but no, I probably won't. I love playing golf. Can't stand watching it.
If I need a nap, I'll turn it on.
There's a
I
lot of
agree with
Masters
that.
disrespect.
I might turn it on Sunday.
Right? Did you all hear about what happened yesterday at the Masters?
Mm-mm.
So the number 1 U.S. amateur in the world, he plays golf at Arizona State. He had to pee while he was on the course and went and peed in Rays Creek
Oh, that's a big no-no.
at Augusta, right there in the middle of the course. Just
Whipped it out.
whipped it out and took a leak.
What's wrong with that?
Well, I figured you'd be the one to say that, Austin.
Peed on a mini golf course.
Augusta National is not your average golf course.
No, I know that.
We would get kicked out within 30 seconds of being
Oh,
there.
for sure.
But I mean, what do you guys think about that?
They-
And the thing is, there's a bathroom on the tee box he was at. He just said it was too far
Okay,
away.
then that's disrespectful.
He's just out there living,
If
man.
I'm on, if there's not a bathroom in sight, I've drank a few beers. I'm going.
Was there not like any repercussions from that, or
I've not heard any.
I'd say he's getting a hefty fine.
I'm sure he will. I mean,
In his
You-
post-round press conference, he said, "I'd do it again."
like you can't have a,
Me
you,
double
can't,
stack.
Respect it.
you can't have a cell phone in there. If you get caught like taking like grass or sand from there, you spend 5 years in prison.
Yeah,
I mean, the rules there are
tight.
tight.
No phones at Augusta. Did you know
No
that?
phones.
That's stupid.
Can't bring them in.
They say it takes away from the integrity of the game.
Green
I mean,
napkins.
I could understand.
But yeah, so this guy, whips it out and pisses right on the golf course. Now, I agree with Austin. There's been many a time you're at Lincoln Park and you gotta pee.
Yeah, but that's like a park.
That's Lincoln Park. That's not Augusta National,
Yeah.
right? And then, like I said,
pretty close, but yeah.
he said he could see the bathroom. He just thought it was too far.
I mean, they should have came and picked him up, took him to the
You
bathroom.
gotta go. You gotta go.
And he has not been drinking beer all day.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, that's a little different.
He's at his peak performance out there trying to make the cut.
Yeah.
What if that peak performance is a couple beers deep?
Yeah. I bet old what's his
not
name?
sure
The
that's
guy
allowed.
that smokes cigarettes out there.
John Daly.
John
I
Daly.
bet he drinks beer while he plays.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's 70 years old. He don't care what he plays.
Did he
If
ever
John
play?
Daly never pissed at Augusta National, I don't think this guy should.
I'm
No.
guessing he's played in the Masters before.
John Daly?
Mm. Can you drink or?
I would say no.
Probably not.
Yeah, no.
I
It's a
think,
professional sport, Austin.
yeah.
I mean,
That'd be like juicing.
Like John Daly, he was at the PGA last year,
He's
and he was
smoking
just,
cigarettes.
he wasn't actually in the PGA, he was just playing.
He's just throwing beers back,
and he
ripping
was, you know,
darts.
he was having fun.
Yeah,
But like the guys that were actually playing there to have a chance to win, they were locked in.
yeah.
yeah.
Gatorade only.
Yeah.
No vodka in there.
That was a wild turn of events there for the city of Louisville.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
arrest the #1 golfer in the world. John Daly's out there ripping darts. Scott Van Pelt's walking around the green.
Yeah, what was he doing?
I don't know, but he was
He
there.
was there.
Brady up there working on the road.
Yeah, me and Patrick went, and we're sitting there looking at the green, and he smashed my leg. He's like, "Dude, that's Scott Van Pelt." He's like, "I'd recognize that bald head anywhere," and it was, sure enough.
Kevin Van Pelt is kind of legendary though.
Yeah. So I mean, that was super cool. But
yeah.
yeah, so you guys, what are your thoughts on the whole? Do you pee at Augusta National on the course?
Definitely not.
I would not want to risk the prison time. No.
I mean, from what I've heard, no.
If you want to go back, no.
Yeah, if you want to be invited back.
Well, supposedly the waiting list to get on there. It's not very expensive to go there, but you gotta wait like 10 years to go.
Yeah,
To play or to watch?
Watch.
I've
Can
put-
anybody? Can civilians play it?
no,
No, you gotta be a member. It's like $1 million membership.
I've put in for the lottery to go for the last 2 years and nothing.
What if he wins it? Like some stroke.
Then they'll forget. They'll forget
luck
he took a
and-
piss on the tee box.
I'd want that framed.
That'd be a tradition.
I would be curious
With
though.
my
if it's-
green jacket.
You know, Friday night at 9:00 has he made the cut? I would say not, because like I said, he is the amateur. He is the #1 amateur in America, but still, you're going against guys like Scotty Scheffler
Yeah.
and Rory McIlroy,
Bryson
and
DeChambeau.
Bryson. I mean, that's a tough cut to make.
Yeah.
Tiger playing?
No, he another Achilles?
Nah, something like that.
Yeah, tore Achilles, ruptured.
How do you do that when golfing?
Tiger goes crazy, man. he don't just golf; he golfs. His
Extreme
training-
golfer.
Yeah, his training regimen is legendary.
Y'all remember that golf game that came out a few years ago? South Park made a big thing about it, where you were dodging your wife as Tiger,
Oh,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden everything cleans up and it's just regular golf, and they're like, "I don't want to play this. This is
Yeah.
boring."
I'm a big fan of golf, the 2K game.
I haven't played one. I'm a big fan of Mario Golf.
Yeah,
I like Wii Sports
Yeah.
Golf.
Wii Sports Golf. I mean, legendary. All right, guys. Anybody else? Do we got anything we want to add now? I don't think so. I think we're to a good point of wrapping it up. We appreciate everybody listening. Once again, coming back from a little hiatus. Hopefully, we'll be back next week if we can figure out something to talk about. Getting into the summer, though, we're going to have to figure some stuff out. This is where the episodes should start getting fun. If you listen to the Kentucky Prime Picks podcast and heard the Lil Wayne bracket, have more of that stuff coming at you. May talk a little bit, ghost adventures, stuff like that. Me and Austin been known to,
I'm down.
mosey around a few
Well,
haunted places.
I got some.
Yeah.
I got some ghost stories for you.
Do you?
Yeah.
Real life?
First hand encounters.
Oh, it's too bad we've already ran this thing an hour and 20 minutes.
You have to come back next week to hear it.
Have to come back
Yeah.
next week.
I'm interested.
I am too. We might have to hear it now and then record it again next week. All right, guys. We do appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate all the support. Everybody have a good night and
Go Cats.